Somewhere near you right now, there's a dog. Maybe it's yours. Maybe it's the one next door that loses its entire mind every time a leaf changes direction. Go look at it. That animal is a wolf. Not descended from, is. The thing on your couch, the one that's scared of the vacuum, is an apex predator we never tamed, never captured, and never at any point actually decided to make. It's the first time in history another species moved in with us. And the closer you look at how it happened, the clearer one thing gets. We did not do this on purpose. This involves a garbage dump, a 60-year Soviet experiment that survived by lying to the government. Your dog's ability to read your face better than your closest friends can. And the single most valuable resource early humans produced on a reliable daily basis, which was, and the science is unfortunately specific about this, our poop. We'll get there. Here's the claim the whole thing is built on. We did not domesticate dogs. The first dog wasn't built by a human. It was built by a wolf. Specifically, the one wolf in the pack that was slightly less of a coward than the rest. So, if we didn't do it, who did? Before we get to who did it, you need to understand why this should have been impossible. Domestication isn't taming. Taming is one nervous animal deciding you, personally, are fine. Domestication is an entire species rewiring itself, genetically, over generations, until being near humans is just who they are. You can tame a wolf. People do. It does not make a dog. It makes a wolf that tolerates you right up until the day it doesn't. And of every animal on Earth we could have teamed up with first, we opened with a giant pack-hunting carnivore that ate the same food we did and was fully equipped to eat us too. Brian Hare runs the Duke Canine Cognition Center. He puts it flatly. Anyone who's spent real time around wild wolves knows there's no version of this where a caveman strolls up, picks one, and tames it into a golden retriever. You don't tame the wolf tames you into food. So the bedtime story, brave hunter adopts a cute wolf pup, dies on contact. Which leaves the question, if we didn't go get the wolf came and got us. Somewhere between 15 and 40,000 years ago, and that range being the size of a geological era is a problem we'll come back to. Humans started leaving piles of stuff lying around. Bones, scraps, the parts of the kill nobody wanted. To a wolf, that pile is a free buffet with zero hunting required. The first food delivery service. And the only tip required was, don't bite anyone. And here's the part they leave off the dog food bag. It wasn't just scraps. A human camp is also, biologically speaking, a latrine. And a real chunk of the menu was our waste. The dog's origin story does not open on a noble hunt. It opens on a wolf eating our garbage and our poop, and deciding it would like to stay for seconds. Yes, ancient wolves actually did consume feces, including human waste. This behavior is known as coprophagia, and it played a major role in the evolution and domestication of modern dogs. Most wolves were too scared to get close. Except a few, born a little bolder, a little calmer around the weird upright apes. Those wolves ate. The terrified ones didn't. The bold ones survived and bred. With each other, because they were all loitering at the same dump. Run that a few hundred generations, and you've selected, with precisely zero human intent, for the friendliest wolves alive. Hare and his colleague Vanessa Woods named it Survival of the Friendliest. We didn't pick the nicest wolves. The trash did. Clean answer. Done. Except, being less scared gets you to the dump. It does not get you onto the couch. Something stranger than tameness got selected for. Point at something in front of a wolf and it stares at your finger. Point at something in front of a dog and it looks where you're pointing. It gets it. Human babies can do this. Wolves, even ones raised by people from birth, mostly can't. Dogs ship with it as a factory setting. Hand a dog a problem it can't solve and it stops, turns around, and looks at you. asks for help. A wolf just keeps fighting the box. The wolves that made it weren't only calm, they were reading us. Geneticist Bridget von Holt tied part of it to the same patch of DNA that, in humans, causes a condition that makes people relentlessly, indiscriminately friendly. So your dog may love everyone for the same genetic reason some people cannot stop talking to strangers on the train. Tame plus social. Surely now we're done. We are not remotely done. Because for about 60 years, we thought we had it all on tape. 1959, Siberia. A Soviet scientist named Dmitry Belyaev runs an experiment so simple, it's almost insulting. Take silver foxes, breed only the calmest ones around people. Repeat, nothing else, just tameness. His colleague, Ludmila Trut, is still running it today, and it works. Fast. Within a few generations, the foxes get friendly, and then they start changing in ways nobody asked for. Floppy ears, curly tails, patchy coats, soft little baby faces, a whole free gift bag. They called it domestication syndrome, and it looked like the cheat code. Select for friendly, and looks like a pet ships free in the box. Quick aside, because it's genuinely the best part. Belyaev was running a genetics experiment in a country where genetics was effectively illegal. The man running Soviet biology, Lysenko, had geneticists fired, jailed, and in plenty of cases, killed. Belyev's own brother among them. So Belyaev ran the most important domestication study in history, while swearing to anyone official that it was actually about fur quality. He just never said the word genes out loud. History's most famous experiment on tameness survived by being a coward about it, which, given the subject matter, is extremely on theme. So, gorgeous experiment, clean proof. But here's the thing. In 2020, a team led by Catherine Lord and Eleanor Carlson pulled the thread and found Belyev's foxes were never wild. They came from Canadian fur farms, where they'd already spent decades being bred around people. The floppy ears may have been in the deck before he dealt a single card. The verdict was blunt. The famous result, and domestication syndrome itself, had been oversold. The cleanest proof we had got a lot less clean. And it gets worse for our confidence. Remember 15 to 40,000 years ago? It's that vague because we honestly don't know. Studies have placed the first dogs in Europe, the Middle East, Siberia, and China, which is roughly most of a hemisphere. One major study argued it happened twice, independently. Others pushed back hard. And the newest ancient DNA work, published in 2026, just shoved the confirmed European date back past 14,000 years again. This isn't a solved mystery with a couple of gaps. The whole timeline is wet paint. Every few years, someone sequences an old bone and the story quietly reorganizes itself. But under all the chaos, one thing refuses to budge. Every answer, no matter what else changes, keeps repeating the same quiet line. We didn't do this. And here's the detail that should stop you cold. Dogs are the only animal we domesticated before farming, before we settled down, before we domesticated a single plant, a single sheep, a single anything. While we were still broke, nomadic hunter-gatherers who owned basically nothing and lived nowhere, the wolf had already moved in and taken the good spot by the fire. The first domestication in human history wasn't a human achievement at all. And here's where it turns around on you. Hare's bigger idea, and this one's a hypothesis, not settled fact, so hold it loosely, is that the exact same thing happened to us. Look at human skulls across time, and we softened too. Smaller faces, smaller teeth, less hardware for picking fights. Some of these same scientists think we self-domesticated, that the humans who won weren't the strongest or the scariest, but the ones who could cooperate, share, and not murder the neighbors over a disagreement. Which means the dog was never really a story about dogs. It's the same bet, placed twice. Strength versus friendliness. And both times, in two different species, friendliness quietly won. You're looking at a wolf that made the same gamble your ancestors made, and it's asleep on your couch. Nobody tamed the wolf. A wolf looked at the single most dangerous animal alive, decided we were worth the risk, and moved in. Best decision either of us ever made.